What's up, everybody? Welcome to the latest edition of the Sarlacc Digest Hoth Topic. I'm your host, Kris. And look, I brought friends with me today from the Sarlacc crew.
Hey.
What's up? We've got
What's up,
Scott.
everyone?
Hey, what's up, nerds?
We've got Marco.
I'm here. Hot topic. It's cold. It's cold in here.
What? Look at that. He's letting me
It's cold.
take
It's
the reins.
hothy. It's hothy.
Yes, I have to ask Marco for permission. Can I do an episode? Can I host one here? So
Yeah. I have to remember that just to sit back and let it happen.
Yeah, no, he's gonna take over in
I
about
have-
3 minutes, and he'll start going into news and
Yeah.
stuff, and I'm gonna have to cuss him out. But what we're doing today is I've promised and talked about for a while a couple episodes, and this is I felt it was time to revisit my Luke arc since we've had the new news with the Mandalorian and seen him in action. A lot of different ideas come out, and a whole bunch of that's my Luke. TLJ, Luke is not mine. That's
Yes.
Luke.
This is
So I
the Luke
wanted to
we've all
kinda-
been waiting for.
Right. So
Yeah.
last time I did this, I did a rant, right? And I kind of went off on how the arc worked, and I was, you know me, I was ticked off about how everybody saw it and why wasn't everybody getting it? Why didn't you
For the sequels, correct.
For the sequels, why don't you get Luke in The Last Jedi? I understand Luke. Why don't you get it? So I realized I'm kind of being a surprise. I'm being a jackass, and I'm being selfish in that way because I have a whole different experience in life than a lot of people. You guys
Right.
we all have different experiences, so we all see things different ways. So I'm sitting here thinking, that's right, you're on Hoth.
I'm on Hot Topic. I just
Um,
realized.
So since we all see things different ways, we're gonna interpret Luke's arc differently. So instead of me
Correct.
telling everybody why they're wrong this time, I'm gonna tell them why. I want to bounce off you guys and go through you. You guys have known me a long time, 20 plus years each, right? So I want to just kind of bounce it around and talk to you about it. And at the end, maybe
Cool.
everybody will see why I like Luke's arc, including Mandalorian and including Last Jedi through everything, and why he means a lot to me. He's not my favorite character. I've never ever said it's Vader, it's Thrawn. Luke's in there. It's important. My oldest son is named Luke.
Right.
Darth Dad is for a reason, and his game name was Son of Vader. It was all, it's not like it's not there, but I'm gonna go through why I relate to him more than anybody else, which you would think would make him my favorite, but it doesn't. All right, so we ready to bounce?
Let's do this.
Yeah, man. I'm
All
ready.
right.
I'm ready.
Let's start out with Luke at the age of 19 is living on a desert planet of Tatooine. Okay. Kris at the age of 18 is living on the desert planet of Victorville, California. Okay.
Oh, this is how we're doing it. Okay.
This is exactly how we're
Gotcha.
doing it.
All right.
Luke was raised by his aunt and uncle, Owen and Beru.
Yeah.
Kris was raised by his aunt and uncle, Rita and Fletcher.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That's it. All of our lives we're told our dads are a certain person. All of a sudden, at the age of 18 for me, 19 for Luke, all of a sudden we're told that our whole lives were a lie. That our father is not who we thought he was, right? One thinks his dad was basically a spice runner, right?
Yeah.
Which we've learned by now is marijuana in the Star Wars world.
Correct.
Essentially,
Correct.
yeah.
They're going to legalize spice in
It's
Star Wars.
legal in the local systems, but
Right.
federally it's still
Right. My dad was supposedly a Hell's Angel that didn't want to have kids. Okay.
Yeah.
Come to find out, his dad was a space sorcerer, somebody that one with the Force, knows all this mythical, excellent stuff and has powers and things.
I can't wait to see how this relates.
I know.
My dad's a preacher. He wasn't
Okay.
a Hell's Angel. He was he is a preacher. So I mean,
you were told one thing and then the reality.
Yes,
just like
yes.
Luke, yes.
I mean, he's not a monk or nothing, but close enough, right?
Close.
It's completely the opposite of what I thought, just like Luke was completely opposite of what he thought. Okay. So here we go. Now we go into the real world. Our aunt and uncles die. That literally happened, right? I mean, like that's completely legit. And then that puts you into your real world and you're on your own. Well, this is where, I mean, I didn't blow up a Death Star. Right. But Luke goes through all this stuff. And as he's building this new career and this new legend, right, he starts out by having to take out the bad guys. Okay. And that's what he does. There are people doing bad things. Luke takes it out at a young age, probably unprepared. When he takes out the Death Star, he's got all this guilt, which I've spoke about, right? He feels bad. Even when you do something that's good for the universe or whatever, it still feels bad because you've had to take somebody out.
Yeah.
And a young guy at that, right? So here I go. I'm
Right.
starting to work at the company I kind of work for now. It's changed names a few times, right? But as I'm coming up, I'm the young hotshot. I'm the one that has to go in there and make my name and do my stuff, right? And as I'm doing this and as I'm climbing up through the ranks, people get taken out when they're not doing their job and you're doing yours, right? And no
Mm.
matter what, when I take people's positions, whether it was right, wrong, or anything, does good for me, does good for a center, does good for whatever, there's guilt because it's taking people's livelihoods. I'm not taking lives, but take livelihoods, right? So you're like, okay, that's whatever. I relate on that kind of level. Not as obviously it's completely different, right? He has
Sure,
PTSD,
sure,
I'm sure, all this, but you're not going to relate well to blowing up a Death Star. Okay. So
Right.
after this and going up, Luke is now, again, this is their difference, but relatable. He's more than him now. People see him differently. They see him as more than just Luke. He's a legend in Star Wars, right? He's more than he probably is. Okay. And he's given all this responsibility and everybody's supposed to do all these things or he's supposed to do all these things and everybody trusts and believes that he's going to do it.
Right.
Well, again, when you're this young and you're coming up and you are literally they're calling you a rock star in meetings. Like, oh, this kid's the one. You know, I remember going into an interview and Johnny Gonzalez, who's actually in our group that posts a lot in the group, he was in the same. We grew up in the same company and promoted near the same at the same time. We got into a leadership development program through the same thing. Anyway,
So he's like your wedge or your Biggs.
Right. No, I wasn't going there, but cool. But what I'm saying, but you hear these things, right? And like
It's
his manager,
definitely not your fake wedge.
No, not my fake
Right.
wedge. He his manager had interviewed me, and when he came out, I had heard him say that kid's going to run the company. Right. I'm 24, 25 years old hearing this and getting promoted fast and going through. And you're thinking, man, I'm bulletproof. This is awesome. Everything is great. Okay. Life's going good. My family's growing. You know, I'm getting my two kids, my beautiful wife, buying houses, doing things. Things are good. Luke is now going off doing things. Right. Luke is over here helping the galaxy. Maybe not getting his own family together. We don't, but spending time maybe with his family or growing his Jedi Order as his family, doing what he's supposed to do. But all these expectations are on him more so than he's probably, again, ready for, trained for, or anything. Just like me at 25, 26, up to 30, I'm running 225 people in a call center. I have all the faith in my ability, but I was probably in over my head at the time. Right. Here's Luke trying to rebuild the Jedi Order at like 24 years old. That's not right. Okay, so
using the same tactics as the Jedi. Remember, like he's copying what he's learned from the text and everything else.
And that's all he knows from what he's seen, right? Okay, what have I seen through this time? I may think it's wrong, but I've seen a lot of bad stuff going on, and I kind of, you know, there's similarities. All right. So then he comes up, and like I said, his badass scene. He comes up there and he tears up through everybody. He's rocking through. Like I'm saying, the Mandalorian episode where he comes in, he's just at the height of this.
Yeah.
Okay. We're early on. We're only a couple years after Return of the Jedi. He's still super young. And he is it. If somebody wants something fixed or if somebody needs something, they're going to go to Luke Skywalker. Over in my world, if somebody wanted something or needs something fixed, they're going to go to Kris. Right. And again, I'm confident in my abilities to a point where I'm cocky. Okay. But there's a point where I'm like, it's fake cocky. I'm putting on a face, you know, and you start to feel worried. So we go years and years, but again, I'm still bulletproof. I'm having a good career, good family, good everything. Now we don't know Luke's gap here from Mandalorian up until, it's only going to be like 3 years before Last Jedi, right? Because of the way Bloodline worked. So it's a lot of years, just like what's about to happen. All of a sudden, all this time I'm doing good. Or Luke is. And then he has these visions and bad things happen and he keeps going through, and I'm sure bad things happen in the universe and all this pressure. And he keeps seeing these visions of his nephew, and he has a fleeting moment of bad thought. Right. And we've all talked about that with Kylo and being angry and stuff. A fleeting moment. Well, back in 2016, I got laid off from this company. Right. So that started me down on a path of I'll say depression. Yeah, it was depression. I was on, I talked about it on my show before, so it wasn't like it's a big secret. I pulled away from you guys. I pulled away from the chat, the social media, the show. I stopped doing Hoth Topic at that point completely. And I never even got back on track still. And here I am. Right. And there were a lot of dark thoughts, fleeting dark thoughts. I mean, dark shit, man. And that's horrible. But I think I'm a strong person. Right. But in those moments, I'm weak. and it sucks. And you get yourself emotional on your knees, crying to a force I don't necessarily believe in, but you're trying to find something to get you through, right? Well, here's Luke losing it and trying to go through this. He's been through all of his experiences in his life, right? And here he is for one moment. He's like, I can fix this part. Everything's, all this expectation. I'm supposed to stop this evil. I'm supposed to do this. Turn the lightsaber on. No, I can save him. I could turn it off. That's it. He just got caught doing it.
Right.
If anybody had caught me with if anybody caught me with my fleeting thoughts, I probably would have been in a hospital for 2 weeks being on watch, or putting a restraining order against somebody else because I was going to go, you have these type of things and stuff that you think fleetingly, but it doesn't happen. And there was Luke. Right. But then, you go through this stuff and then there's a point where you fight back, whether it's somebody bringing you back like Rey mentioning Leia and going all this stuff and knowing that you're needed. Well, I go through these trials too, and you guys help me. You're part of my support group, whether we talked about the stuff or not openly, it was just I would go to you guys just to be around you guys.
We're always there.
And I'm good now ish.
Ish.
But it brings you back, and if something brings you back because you're always still that person. And here comes Luke at the end to save the day and come back. Well, as I was building my life back, guess what else comes back? I got rehired, right? And re-promoted and moved back up. And here I am back in my career doing my thing. Well, here's Luke back to doing his thing as a Jedi. Becomes a Jedi again, becomes one with the Force, is able to help everybody again and knows better now and has learned from his experience and has moved on and is now basically the master. I've come back and I've moved on and I'm basically the boss again, just with more knowledge. Right. So I don't know if that makes sense to anybody or to you guys, but
perfect sense in being a parallel, how you do relate to Star Wars in real life. Like we might say, hey, we live this, right? But we actually do take life lessons from Star Wars, and where Star Wars takes it from real life also. It imitates, I don't have those experiences like you had, but I understand that whole Luke's arc, and I understand his mind frame from after Return to Kylo Ren to Rey and moving forward, Absolutely.
Yeah, it's not that hard to get. And but I did think about it and I was like, you know what? It's unfair to me to blast everybody for not getting it without explaining why I get it so much. I could say the story and it's right in front of your face. If you're not getting it, that's kind of on you for comprehending, right? But it also gets deeper. Like you said, with Star Wars in general, you start to pull things out. It's not just Luke I relate to. It could be tons of them, little bits of everybody. Thrawn is one of those that, again, I relate to in a way that I want to, again, being a manager, I love his leadership style. I want my boss to be Thrawn, and I want to be Thrawn. That's it. I used to joke more Michael Scott, right? Because that's kind of what I am. I got to watch my mouth. I can goof around, but I'm not a regional sales manager. I'm a national sales manager. So I got Michael Scott by a bit. But I don't want to be Michael Scott. I want to be Thrawn. That's what I want. I want to be a respected leader that knows how to treat his people, that knows how to, Star Wars is like that. I have a Vader tattoo for a reason. Do you remember why I got the Vader tattoo when I was 18? No, it's because you guys have seen me on Hoth Topic. My anger can go from 0 to 104 in like 3 seconds.
Sure.
Right.
Sure.
Yeah. And that's why the tattoo, because again, that's my thing. If I don't control my anger, I become that.
Gotcha.
Right. I'm Anakin. This is before we knew what Anakin was.
Right.
1995, we didn't have episode 1.
Yeah. You were Empire Strikes Back Vader.
Right.
Choking everybody.
But we knew
on the whim.
But we knew it's anger that took it over. We already knew that, right? Because we knew the story somehow. Somehow we knew all this crap.
Yeah,
but we knew the dark side. We knew the anger is what made him powerful. We knew Anakin's anger made him evil. And that was my thing relating to there too. Hence the tattoo. That's not just that was my number one tattoo because it reminded me of me. So when I see the Vader tattoo, I got to think to myself, don't go down that path. And I don't talk about that a lot, but that's when I got it, or somebody asked why that one. They don't usually ask because it's Vader, right?
Right.
But why did you choose Vader?
Right.
The Bat the Skull / Mythosaur / Death Heads, whatever the hell it's called, or now it's Mythosaur.
Yeah.
Right. That was because it was cool and it was Boba Fett's. But Vader.
Right. But
yeah. How about you, Scott?
That's a good. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I'm just gonna say the tattoo is the tattoo story. I've never heard of that, and that's actually pretty cool and a very good reason to get a Vader tattoo. Actually, so
now when I get it touched up soon, it'll be even cooler because right now it looks like a 25-year-old Vader.
Right. Sorry, Scott.
He's kind of long in the tooth now.
He is.
Looks
like a dog. Looks like Snoopy.
No, I'm with you. I can relate because similar family situation in the beginning to a point. I always had my mom around, but it was for the longest time just her and I. And you're always taught or told who your father is, and I didn't realize quite. Boy, yeah, told he was dead. He wasn't. Yeah, but yeah, mine was a piece of crap. So, but yeah, I mean, things happen as you're going through your life, and I completely relate to him too because of. I wanted to say also because of a job that I had, and I was in this job, and I was in a kind of a leadership role in this job, but I didn't like what it was turning me into.
Yeah.
And so I was withdrawing from people. I was becoming just an angry person. I needed that Vader tattoo to remind me not to be this guy. But what I ended up doing eventually was I quit and I went back to school and I completely remade myself. And I always had kind of this latent artistic ability, but never did anything with it. I was in the medical field for God's sakes. I was doing medical billing and working as a HR person in a nursing registry. And I'm like, what am I doing? It was killing me, man. So
that's why I'm self-employed.
Don't blame you. Actually, I wouldn't want that. But going back, getting an art degree and actually going into work, my passion, and I've discovered myself, kind of that reawakening that Luke had at the end, whenever Rey brought him back and everything, brought him back into the light. And
we can change no matter what age, right? Whether you're younger, older. I mean, I'm still changing right now. I'm a better person than I was 2 years ago. And I couldn't have said that from 5 years ago to 2 years ago. I'm a better person now. People change and people go through dark stuff, hate things, hate people. Okay, look, the Hoth Topic persona, that was a persona partially. It was partially me losing my mind. Right. If you guys notice, I'm a lot calmer anymore. I mean, a lot calmer. I don't even hate everybody. I used to hate everybody. It's just you gotta get better. Honestly, and I'll talk about it with the inclusiveness. I was the one questioning it a lot, and then I started looking deeper. You can change. You can start saying, why would I care? Why do I give it a damn who's doing what? It's not my decision, my anything. People can grow, and I can. Nobody's called me out on saying anything, but I know what I've said.
Yeah,
and I say that because everybody gets called out on saying stuff. I want to make sure, people can.
Yeah, I think it's as Star Wars fans, we discuss Star Wars with each other and everybody else. So I think it's not necessarily your reaction is wrong, Kris. It's how the other half that would argue the Luke's arc, how they approached it. Not my Luke.
Yeah,
he wouldn't do this. He wouldn't run away. But they didn't offer anything. They didn't offer any explanation why they thought Luke couldn't do what he did in his entire arc.
Or why he should have done something different. The whole argument with Luke was he was supposed to be the demigod, right? Yeah. He was supposed to be damn near untouchable, bringing things down and fixing everything. He could have fixed the First Order without the First Order being a problem. That's the problem, right? It's kind of like Superman.
But they don't look at that.
Unless you nerf him. Yeah. They want badass Luke all the time. If there was badass Luke at the time, you wouldn't have needed badass Luke.
No.
That's the problem.
100%.
People don't get it.
100%.
You got to nerf him. You got to nerf Superman. You nerf Superman so he can be powerful again later. If Superman was never nerfed or had never had a problem, then you'd be like, he's unstoppable. What do you do? That's always been the complaint. Luke is no different besides he can't fly. Right. There's not much different. He will block a laser.
The whole term "much conflict I sense in you," that's what Yoda told Luke.
Yeah.
The sequels gave us the conflict in Luke. I mean, in the original trilogy, it was, who am I supposed to be, and how do I live up to be who I am? And the sequels is the conflict in Luke.
Yeah.
And again, and then the whole background of it of just because he could, should he have? And that's what I think Luke's biggest question was. Should he have done what he did? Obviously, he took it as no, and it shouldn't be repeated. That's why he didn't want to train Rey and on all those things. It's a learning curve from the beginning. He didn't just learn and then die. Like Luke wasn't a perfect specimen. He started at 19 years old, or wasn't even trained. He was
instead of a toddler, like all of the rest of them.
Yeah, he was thrown into chaos. and then tried to get some peace, and then he had to kill his father, basically. I mean, face his father twice.
Yep.
And then be by himself and only have a sister, and then like Kris said, have the weight of the world on his shoulders, be the person that the world expected to be, and then his own nephew turned on him. He saw the turning. And like I said, that fleeting moment meant nothing until Kylo Ren is the one who destroyed everything and caused Luke to go into panic mode and run away, because it was gone by then. The younglings were killed.
It wasn't even panic. He just felt that much guilt, right? And he's going to be like, "Oh, you know what? I sent him onto a track. If I show up, I'm gonna elevate this to a higher level." And there's make it worse. And this balance and the Jedi thing just doesn't work. And I get all that, it's just,
and that's
what it is. Relooking at everything. Is this the way it's supposed to be? Is this how my life should be? If I've been doing the right thing, you've got to question it for a minute. If you're not questioning things, you're honestly probably not thinking enough, right? Even when Qui-Gon got offered on the Jedi Council, right? He says, "I'm gonna take a while to think about it." Well, you'd be wild not to. You have to give things thought and take time for it. That's what he does, He had to take that, whether it's 2 years or not, he had to take time.
Yeah. And a lot of the people who are also really ticked off, who were really ticked off about it, still are to this day, are people that have this idealized version of him in their head as to what they wanted him to be. And then they're fed, 25, 30 years worth of comics where that is what Luke was, the demigod,
and 90% of those people didn't even read them, Scott. That's
guaranteed.
It's all
guaranteed.
And a lot of it is maybe they don't relate to it, or maybe the relation is that they had the demigod. Right. And that was who they looked up to and strove to be and wanted to be. And this is that ideal thing, something that people could never be. So we like superheroes.
Yeah.
They're the best part of ourselves.
Yeah. They didn't necessarily want to relate. They wanted to look up and idolize.
Yes.
That's for 30 years, they knew Luke as Return of the Jedi, and they lived that. We did it. Right. I mean, for the most part, like, we explored the comics and the books and everything. And they're just so much like Luke is so. If they really understood Luke's arc in the expanded universe, they would actually really buy into the sequel, Luke. I will go to my grave saying that. Explore Luke then, and there is so much conflict in Luke then in the EU. You can't tell me that the 5 minutes that we saw in The Mandalorian, that's the one I've been waiting for, and that's the one that he should, and not my Luke, and my Luke's back.
So is that what we say about Vader in Rogue One? That's my Vader. Nobody else is my Vader.
No, no. It's just bad. It's just badass Vader. And Luke at that time makes perfect sense to show up and do exactly what he did.
He's in his prime.
It makes sense.
He's had 5 more years to train with his lightsaber. He now knows how to use it.
Yeah, 30 years later, he's having trouble getting out of bed.
That's what I'm saying. I always say this. The biggest mistake in the for George Lucas when he had it was waiting or didn't do the 7, 8, and 9 when it was in prime time, like when Harrison Ford that was the prime to do 7, 8, and 9. I'm sorry, everybody, unless you recasted or did an animation, you have to fast forward 33 years. And I applaud Disney for taking the time and saying, this is them now, 33 years later, now, not you know what I mean? Like, not trying to be like, this is the next day. And then, that just doesn't work.
Which is kind of funny if you think about it, because Disney, whenever you get a Disney movie, you think you're going to get the idealized version, the Disney version, the happy-go-lucky version of all these characters. But they actually, they did a very un-Disney thing by letting Lucasfilm just do what they wanted to do, in which case we don't get these idealized Disney-fied versions of these characters. We get real versions of these.
We got the real dark, gritty. That's the darkest trilogy. Besides, if you're talking about Episode 3 is probably the darkest movie. Yeah. Right. And Empire. That's as a trilogy, it's a very dark setup.
The Last Jedi is incredibly dark if you look at it that way.
And Rise of Skywalker is incredibly blue.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
So just to wrap this one up, because I we've got lots of episodes, and Hoth Topic's a quicker show. Just want to make sure, like, again, if just like I'm with everybody now, if you choose not to like Luke's arc, it's cool. But I'm tired of everybody pooping on it. That's it. Stop complaining. It's done. Either you relate to it, or you don't. That's fine. Either you like it.
They're not going to reboot it.
They're not going to reboot it. That is the Luke we have.
But they're going to fill in the gaps, maybe.
And we've still got 20-something.
They'll enhance it.
And that's
we've
the thing.
always said they're going to enhance it. So.
Nothing's out of the question yet. I mean, Mara Jade can very well still exist. They didn't have to mention her.
Yes.
Right. I'm not mentioning people from 20 years ago in every conversation. When something happens, I don't say, oh, wow, there's my buddy from 15 years ago. I don't bring things up from that long ago. So whether it's important or not, it's just not going to be mentioned. So that can all still be in play. Heir to the Empire, as we know, is coming. Right. Should do a quick episode on that too. Let's just do 5 episodes in a row and just release them. Boom, boom, boom.
Do it.
Right. Because Heir of the Empire is 100% coming, and I think we'll see that, and I think we're going to get more Luke and everything else, and we'll see some more of this badass prime Luke, and that's fine, and we're going to see it. But again, it's not always this. That's not how life goes, man. It goes
right.
Wouldn't it be great if it did?
Yeah, it would be super.
Wouldn't that be rad?
Right. It would be rad if it just kept going up. Yeah, but it goes up, down, up. And,
the only person I can think of is it would be Palpatine. His life went. I mean, really, if his went all the way up until the very downfall. Right. I mean, that was just. I mean, to a point, he never had a period of suffering. So he's the only one that went up and then ended his life.
And if he would have just done that and not gone and moved himself over for 30-something years, he would have had a fine life.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: that dude's dedicated. It's not even about him; it's about the Sith. I mean,
he's dead.
You could have just been dead, dude. You could have been relaxed. You've been around long enough, been through enough crap. You just got thrown down a well. You know what? Good for him being loyal to the Sith. Yeah. I mean, that's a worker you want.
Exactly. You got to give him credit, man. There's no conflict with that dude.
Calling out with him. He died. Evil. He died. Brushed it off. Came back 30 years later. Got rehired. He's good to go.
Yeah.
So the next episode of Hoth Topic is how Kris relates to Palpatine.
Way less.
Palpatine,
I'm sure there are points if I thought about it, right? It's more Anakin and Luke, and we've all got a little bit of Han in us, and there's
sure.
And Reith now in High Republic. I mean, there's a lot of relation.
Yeah.
And that's, I think,
it's not necessarily looking up. It's more like, or not necessarily relating to. It's more like looking up to Palpatine. Like, look at his career, man. Like,
again,
not that I relate to him. It's just
life goals.
Yeah. I'm like, man, look what he did just on the slide. He's awesome. How can you play both sides?
Yeah.
There's no way. But that's the thing.
He's
anyway,
true Gemini.
True. Borderline. Sorry, I'm on the last day at 11 p.m. So I mean, depending on what time.
right.
Gemini or a Cancer. So that's it, guys. Thanks for joining me on the Sarlacc Digest Hoth Topic. Scott, where can I find you?
Hey, you can find me on Sarlacc Digest every week on Wednesdays. We're live. You can also find me
every week.
Every week. It's amazing. You can also find me on The Art of Scott Solo on Instagram, Facebook, and believe it or not, Twitter. I don't know why. I still don't quite understand Twitter, but I'm working on it.
You know what? I told you guys I liked Twitter. I went in there. I'm like, oh, this is a nice, happy place. Everybody's cool. And I don't know what hell I fell into, but I'm like, wow, Twitter is a cesspool.
Yeah.
And I can't leave it.
Next thing you know, it's going to be Reddit. And then, oh no, man, Reddit's a cesspool.
No, Reddit's already a cesspool. I hate Reddit. I won't comment in Reddit. If you go comment in Reddit, you're going to get attacked right away. I compare it to, okay, do you remember Red Dead Redemption when it first came out, or at all, the game?
I know of it.
You're a cowboy, you jump around town to town, right? Well, I get it a little late and I'm not very good at it. I'm like a level 9. There's like a level 75 over there and I'm screwing around and I shoot him. I get not by a level 9, and I get hassled every time I get online now, and I had to quit the game. You know, I mean, just
wow.
Anyway, I don't know why we went there. Okay,
wow.
Go around. How the hell did that come up? I don't even remember where I was going.
I don't know.
I lost my train. Cesspool Reddit. Oh yeah, everything. That's what I'm saying. Everything's a cesspool. No matter that's where I was going. Even from a video game, you get attacked when you do one thing and people won't let it go.
Especially
you go into Reddit, you go in there and you say one thing, you get sniped for days. And I'm like, okay, I'm out. Twitter is kind of the same thing. Don't get me wrong. I watch what I say everywhere, right? Damned if I'm going to get fired for saying anything that I thought was funny. There's not going to happen. So, because I'm smarter than that.
I know.
Yes. It's all about being smart.
It really is, man. It really is. But that's it. Okay, Marco, where can I find you?
Yeah. Well, like always, every week on the Sarlacc Digest YouTube.
Every week?
I'm also every week. Here it is again. And I like this format. I like being on Hoth Topic. I think it's awesome. I know this is a sub, podcast with the spinoff from Sarlacc Digest, but this is cool just to have my, like real quick snippets. So I'm hoping to be on here a lot more. That'd be awesome.
You want to be
But
on
yeah,
the Attack of the Clones episode?
Yeah, I, as a spectator.
He's got to be like, he's
because
going to be the moderator.
Oh, that would probably
I'll
be the bet.
I'll
Make it-
moderate because I love the films because of Star Wars, but I can see both your points. I don't know. I'll moderate. How about that?
Love it.
Yeah.
Right on.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I'm also on Twitter and Instagram and Facebook, everything. But it all goes back to Sarlacc Digest. I don't do anything really personally for myself. It's all about this because this is what the world that I love to do and talk to everybody. So make sure you check, subscribe, and hit that bell notification, like, share, and let's have fun, man. Let's just keep the conversation going. And yeah.
Right on. All right, guys. And you know where to find me because you're here. So take care. May the force be with you. And Scott,
Keep it nerdy.
right on.